Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing my birthday book haul. If you guys missed it, I did my holiday book haul. My birthday and Christmas are quite close together, so this year I decided to split up these videos because I didn't want them to be too long. Again, this is the time period of the year where I gather the most books, and really my TBR gets enormous, and then throughout the year I chip away at it. These are all books that I received for my birthday. I actually have a few more that are at my parents' house, but over the weekend I ended up getting sick. I got the stomach flu and then I got a cold, and it was just like, can I please be done with being sick? So I didn't want to go over there and get them sick. So these are all the books that I have to show you right now. I will put the rest of my birthday book haul in whenever I do another book haul, so you can look forward to that. More book hauls in the future. First up is a book that I actually got myself. I got Dog is Love, Why and How Your Dog Loves You by Clive D.L. Wine? PhD. As you guys know, I love my pup. Nook's right there. Hi, buddy. So I want to just learn a little bit more about dogs and how they interact with humans. Hi, buddy. Mwah. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. No? That's fine. So I want to know why he just denied my kiss right there. And I figured that this might give me some insights into that. We'll see. I always tend to pick up dog books when I'm on vacation or when I'm traveling, just because they're quick and I don't have to like pay attention to them too much. So in March, I'm getting married, we're going away for that, and I figured I'll bring this one and learn a little bit more about Nook while I'm missing him. Right, buddy? Next are books from my aunt and uncle and my grandmother. The first one of those is The Red Threads of Fortune by J.Y. Yang. This is the companion novella to The Black Tides of Heaven, which I read a couple of years ago and did a book review for, so I'll leave that up in the card symbol. But I've been wanting to read the companion novella to that for so long. In this world, people don't confirm as any gender until they're much older and they're confident about their choice. So as children, everyone is referred to as they, them, and then over the course of their adolescence and everything like that, they figure out who they are and everything like that, and then confirm as whatever gender they want to confirm as. In the book that I have read, there are two twins. One confirms as something and the other confirms as something else. This is also a silk punk novel, so it has a lot of East Asian influences, and the magic system was one that I was really enjoying as well. So I want to continue along, see what this one's about, see how they compare and go together, because I don't know if it's the same characters or anything like that. My phone is ringing, so we're gonna move on. Hello? Hi. Next, they gave me Seraph of the End Volume 1. This is an anime that I actually started watching with my brother a while back, and then I never continued the anime because I wanted to read the manga. Anyway, this is a world where a big portion of the world, or like the whole thing, has been taken over by vampires. The main character, I think his family was killed by vampires and he wants to take revenge and kill all the vampires. I enjoyed the anime of what I've watched so far. I think I've only watched a couple of episodes, so I want to see how this compares, and if I like this, I'll be continuing on with it. But Seraph of the End. They also gave me Rave Master Volume 2 by Hiro Mashima. This is Hiro Mashima's first series. As you guys may know, I'm a huge fan of his fairy tale series. I think it is so fun. I love all the characters. I've heard that he has another series, since fairy tale is now over, that is quite similar to fairy tale, but it's set in space. Anyway, I started reading this one because there is a character that overlaps with Fairy Tail, and I wanted to see him in this as well. In this series, the Rave Master has like magical abilities and he's gonna save the world. He has this huge sword and everything like that. And I don't really know too much other than that because this is only Volume 2. I'll let you guys know what I think when I get to it. They also gave me Grayson Volume 1, which is Agents of Spiral. If you guys don't know, in the comic books, Robin, like the first Robin of Batman, eventually becomes Nightwing, and I read all of the volumes in the New 52 for Nightwing, and it continues and kind of changes up a little bit with Grayson. So I really enjoyed Nightwing, and I wanted to continue his story, so this is just the next step in that. I'm not sure how smooth the transition is. I don't know if you have to have read Nightwing to really be invested in Grayson. I don't know, but I also know that some characters that I want to read about pop up in this first volume, so I wanted to read it for that as well. Oh my gosh, I forgot to show you guys artwork. This is some of the artwork in Grayson. Because his parents were acrobats, he is also very acrobatic, and it shows that like this. This is some of the artwork in Seraph of the End. Rave Master's in plastic, so I'm not getting it out right now. The characters that I want to read more about that show up in Grayson are Midnighter and Apollo. This is Midnighter Volume 2. Midnighter is like the gay version of Batman, but he's a lot more intense and kills people. In the New 52 universe, he's a part of Stormwatch, which is a very Justice League-esque group, but actually existed before the Justice League, at least in the timeline. And also, Midnighter is actually a superhero, and he has the ability to see what people are going to do next. So he always knows what someone's next move is, and he can counter it. I have Volume 1. I think I started it, but then realized that I wanted to read Grayson first because this chronologically comes before this. So I'm gonna read this first, and then I have Volume 1 at home, and I'll pick up that one, and then pick up Volume 2. And then after that, chronologically comes Midnighter and Apollo, which is not technically a part of the New 52. Comics are confusing. This actually takes place kind of after the New 52 stopped, and I think Rebirth happened after that. But this is a continuation of Midnighter and Apollo's story. Midnighter and Apollo are gay superheroes, and they're gay together. There's some of the artwork, and that's them being in love. So again, I will be reading Grayson, then Midnighter, and then Midnighter and Apollo, which I think is just one volume, and then I'll have to look up how to keep reading about these characters at some point. I got given Threshold Volume 1, which is called The Hunted. I wanted to pick this one up because I actually really liked the Blue Beetle comics. This is very comic book heavy at the beginning. I'm going to get into the novels, don't worry about that. I think Blue Beetle ends up popping into this series after his run had ended. I wasn't a huge fan of how Blue Beetle ended. I really liked the first volume, and then the second volume just had some missing information, which may be in here. So I'm gonna read this one and figure out what's going on. I'll let you guys know what I think when I read it. Again, it's in plastic, so I'm not opening it. They gave me Barakamon Volume 3, which is the next one that I need to read. If you watched my last video, I think I got Volume 5. At the beginning of the first volume, he gets really upset and he attacks someone, so he ends up going to this island to reset himself and get some fresh air and work on his calligraphy. Hi, buddy. Mwah. While he's on this island, the islanders get involved with his life and get invested in him, and he gets invested in the community of this island village, and I'm loving it so far, so I definitely wanted to continue with this one. I gave the first volume 4 stars and the second volume 5 stars, so I'm definitely really enjoying this one so far. I forgot to say that this one is by Satsuki Yoshino. Next, I was given James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. If you guys watched my holiday book haul, I talked about how I've never read a Roald Dahl book, which is so sad because I really should have. I love reading books that are made for younger readers. I love the messages that they have, and Roald Dahl is such a staple in children's literature that I'm shocked that I never was exposed to any of the actual books. I've watched loads of the movies. I've watched the movie for this, but I've never read the book. So this year I'm going to try to read a lot of Roald Dahl books, watch the movies, and do videos on them. Side note, James and the Giant Peach is my favorite alcoholic beverage. So this is definitely one that I want to get done this year. I think this was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Like, of his movie adaptations, James and the Giant Peach was one of my favorites. It follows this boy. He's living with 2 women. I think they're his aunts, and they just don't love him, really. He feels very alone, and he ends up escaping them by traveling in a giant peach with all of these giant insects. I just am really looking forward to reading the source material and then rewatching the movie. So I'll let you guys know when that happens. They also gave me The Witches, which is actually pretty funny because my sister, the one that gave me this book, was terrified of this movie when we were children. And so I really want to read it. This one's a little bit thicker, but I am very much looking forward to reading this one and rewatching the movie to see why my sister was so scared of it when we were kids. We could not watch that movie if my sister was home. In this book, there are a group of evil witches, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this. They gave me volume 32 and volume 33 in the fairy tale manga series by Hiro Mashima. This is one of my favorite manga series. It is so much fun. It follows this group of wizards that are in a guild called Fairy Tale, and they basically take on all these jobs, try to complete them, and get money for completing these jobs. They're almost like wizard mercenaries, but they're good people. I just love all their friendships and how they interact with each other, so I'm definitely looking forward to continuing this one. This is what some of the artwork looks like. After that, I got given Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. The TV show just came out for this. I have not watched it yet. I really want to, but I want to read the book first because that's how booktubers are. I honestly don't know much about it. I think it has something to do with someone who's more like angelic and someone that's more like a devil, maybe. If I know anything about Terry Pratchett, this is actually going to be hilarious, so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited to watch the TV show as well. I also wanted this edition because it somewhat matches a lot of the other Terry Pratchett books that I have that are set in the Discworld. I don't think that this is set in Discworld. I think this is set in our world and the world is about to end or something like that. I love these editions and how they look. They're just naked hardbacks. They don't have dust covers, dust jackets. I think this is published by Glance. Glance? Don't know how to say that. I then was given not Green Lanterns. I was then given Red Lanterns Volume 3, The Second Prophecy. If you guys don't know, in the Green Lantern world, I guess, I mean, universe, the DC universe, there are different lantern cores, and the Red Lantern's power is all based off of like wrath and anger and being awful. And sometimes they're evil, sometimes they fight for the good guys. So I've been enjoying this series so far, and I wanted to continue. Volume 3. This is what some of the artwork looks like in here. The next books were all definitely given by my parents and my brother. The first of those is the Order of the Majestic by Matt McLeish. I don't know if I'm saying his last name correctly. I read his Jack Blank adventure series. The first one is called Jack Blank and the Imagination, or The Accidental Hero, which is what the paperback came out as. Anyway, this one follows this little boy. At the beginning of the first book, he's taking this exam and he finds out that he's a genius. Then he answers one last question and he gets teleported to an old theater. He finds out that magic is real and he gets involved with this big struggle between two different groups of magicians. He is on the side that's trying to save magic, save the world, that kind of thing. I think it's just gonna follow him as he's learning how to be a magician, learning how to control his powers and everything like that. I really enjoyed Matt McLeish's other series, so I wanted to give this one a shot. And my library didn't have it, so asked for it. They also gave me Tender is the Night by F. Scott Fitzgerald. In my last book haul, I talked about wanting to do different reading projects, as I've already mentioned. One of them was Roald Dahl. One of them was the Bronte sisters. I also want to get into some of F. Scott Fitzgerald's work as well. I've never read anything by him, so I wanted to start collecting these editions, which I think are gorgeous. I saw these when I was in London, and I've just really wanted them. I sound so nasally, I apologize for that. Don't know what this book's about, but I'm definitely going to be reading it at some point as I make my way through his different works and do videos on them and watch adaptations if they have them. So I'll let you guys know. Again, if you have a recommendation of where to start with him, put that down in the comments, and hopefully I will be able to start this one soon. I am trying to finish up my Truman Capote reading project. I'm actually currently reading The Grass Harp. I'm about 40% of the way through that collection of novella and short stories. I don't know if you can see it over there. I'm also reading The Edge of Worlds by Martha Wells, and I'm reading Watchmen, the comic book. I then asked for The Secret Diary of Hendrik Groen, 83 and a quarter years old, which is a novel that when it was released, the author wasn't on the book. So it just says that it's by Hendrik Groen. I think since this book came out, we found out who the author was, but it escapes me right now. I can't think of it. I got this one because it reminded me of A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Bachman. I think it's this old cranky man, and I just want to read about that. He lives in a retirement home, and I think he just writes about his daily life and the antics that all the old people are getting up to. So definitely going to be reading this one soon because it sounds hilarious, and I think I'm really going to enjoy it. If you guys have heard of this one, let me know what you thought. Next, they gave me The Priory of the Orange Tree, a novel by Samantha Shannon. This one is a chunky book. It's like 800 pages or something in the hardcover, so I can't imagine what the paperback is. This one follows this world that has a lot of tensions going on in this one kingdom, nation. It is ruled by a queen, and she hasn't had an heir. She's supposed to have a daughter that will then become queen, but she hasn't done it because she's not married. So people are putting pressure on her to do that. There are also assassination attempts on her, so they're getting closer and closer to succeeding. There's a group of people that use forbidden magic that are protecting the queen that she doesn't know about. And then there's also just some other stuff that's going on in this world between the East and the West and political unrest, everything like that. I've heard amazing things about this. I've heard some people not love it as much, but generally I've heard very positive things, so it makes me excited to read it. It will take me a while. It will take me a while to get through this once I start it. So if you've read it, or if you're interested in reading it along with me, let me know that, and we can have that happen. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I need to continue the Bone season. I read the first one, but I never read the second one, which I own. He's still here. Another chunky book is The Light of All That Falls by James Islington. This is the third and final book in the Lycanis trilogy, I believe it's called. Yeah, the Lycanis trilogy. I read the first book last year or the year before, I can't remember now, but I have now the complete trilogy and I can make my way through it. It is thick as well. This country used to be ruled by people that were called augurs. They had special abilities and they were helped by other people that also had a different set of special abilities called the Gifted. At one point, the regular people rose up, killed all the augurs, enslaved the Gifted, and took over this world, basically. At the beginning of the first book, the main character that we're following, I forgot his name, ends up having powers, but he doesn't really understand them. He is trying to figure out how to pass a proficiency test, basically, so that he's able to keep his powers. The problem is that his powers are more in line with what augurs are. So basically, the augurs are coming back and it's causing all sorts of problems. Also, there's a group of people that are attacking this barrier that has been keeping away evil people that have magical abilities, and everything is just kind of falling apart. I really enjoyed the first one. I am really looking forward to reading the second one as well. This author has a similar writing style and like plotting structure to Brandon Sanderson, and that phrase that Brandon Sanderson always says, "There's always another secret," definitely applies to these books. Looking forward to it. I was also given The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. This is an adult fantasy series that I honestly don't know much about. I've just heard some other BookTube SFF people really enjoy it. I've heard some people not really enjoy it, but I'm hoping that I'm on the side that also really loves this book. But I'll let you guys know what I think when I read it. And I was also given White Sand Book 3 by Brandon Sanderson and all the people that did all the art and the story and everything like that. This one's in plastic, so I'm not going to open it right now, but it follows this guy who has the magic on Taldane. Is that the name of the place that he's on? Anyway, people are able to control sand. And at the beginning of the book, the main character is one of the weakest people that are able to control this type of sand. They're called sand masters. And basically, there is also a lot of political unrest on this planet. There are two sides of the planet that one is always in sun and the other is always in darkness, and it just follows him as he's trying to survive and keep everyone safe and keep the country under control. I've had my ups and downs with it. I think that I always take too long to jump back into the story, so it takes me a little while to get all the characters straight in my mind. But I am enjoying it so far, and characters from this series pop up in other books in the Cosmere, so it's fun to see where some of the world hoppers originate from. I'll be reading this one this year at some point. Then we have this box of books that my parents gave me. First is a book I've actually already read since I got given it. That is The Last by Catherine Applegate. This is the second book in the Endling series. I read and reviewed the first book, so I'll leave that up in the card symbol if you want to check it out. But this one follows a little Dairn, which is the name of her species. Her name is Bix. At the beginning of the first book, her entire pack is killed off. Basically, Dairns are bipedal mammals that look very similar to dogs but have fingers and marsupial pouches. They're also one of the ruling species of this world. Basically, there are 6 ruling species, and the reason why they are ruling species is because they're able to do magic, various amounts of magic. Bix, because she is a Dairn, is able to tell when people are lying or not, and that is why her species has been hunted to extinction. The Endling is the term used for the last surviving member of a species, and so it's all about her being the last. Oh my god, I got the title of this book wrong. This is called The First. The first book is called The Last, I believe. Anyway, this book continues her story. They're trying to find other Dairns. They're trying to figure out if she's actually the Endling or not. It will pop up in my first wrap-up of the year, so look forward to that. My parents gave me Charlotte and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. Again, I'm going to be making my way through his books. This one follows Charlie, and at the beginning of the book, I will be shocked if people don't know what this one is about, but he finds a golden ticket which allows him to be one of the only people admitted to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, which has been closed to the public for a very long time. And basically it just follows Charlie as he goes to the chocolate factory and gets to see all the craziness that Willy Wonka has set up in this factory. I recently rewatched this movie. This one might be one that I do early on just because I have rewatched it, and both of the adaptations are on Netflix currently, so I will be reading this one soon watching those two movies and then doing a video on it. Another one that I've read is The Poison Jungle by Tui T. Sutherland. I think I talked about this in my last wrap-up of 2019, but this one is a continuation of the Wings of Fire series. This is book 13 of the series, so we're pretty far in. Basically, in this world, there are tons of different types of dragons, and there is a lot of problems that happen, and all of the books follow a new main character, and the series is set up in groups of 5 books. So the first 2 arcs are over. We're in the 3rd arc of the series, the 3rd book of the 3rd arc, and it's dealing with a new problem on a new continent. I enjoyed this one. If you want to know more of my thoughts on this book, I'll leave the wrap up that I talk about this book in the card symbol. I got given Ghost Hunter, which is the 6th and final book in the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness series by Michelle Paver. This series follows a little boy named Torak. At the beginning of the first book, he is raised by wolves, kind of. And so he has this very strong bond with this wolf pup. And then he is discovered and he has to interact with different native groups around this area. This book isn't set on Earth, but it's inspired by a lot of different native groups around the globe, and the setting is a bit of a Scandinavian environment. Basically, Torak and his wolf have to try to save the different tribes from this group of evil people that are trying to take over the world. And this is the last one. So I'm really excited to finish this one up and see where everything wraps up. I'm trying to finish more series this year, and this one should be pretty easy to finish because I just have one more. I also got given book 12 of the Wings of Fire series, which is called The Hive Queen. I've obviously already read this one as well. Can't really talk about it more than I talked about the 13th book in the series, but I'm happy to add this to my collection. They are beautiful when they're all lined up, and it's one of my favorite middle grade series of all time. So check it out if you haven't yet. My parents gave me Reverie by Ryan Lasala. So it follows this boy named Kane, and he ends up in this world that he doesn't know how he got there, and I think he's trying to save the world and get back to his world. There are evil drag queens and everything like that. This is a very LGBT inclusive book, and I'm really excited to read it. Ryan Lasala is so funny on Twitter, so I want to see what his book is like. This is one that I've actually really been looking forward to. It's a YA fantasy romp, and I'm here for it. After that, I was given Deathcaster by Cinda Williams-Shima. This is the 4th and final book in the Shattered Realms series, which is a sequel series to the Seven Realms series. I've done videos for all of the books in this sequel series so far, so I'm hoping to finish up this series this year, read what happens to all of my favorite characters from this world, and see what happens to the evil characters of this world as well. Basically, in this world, there are people that are able to do magic. In the first series, there are wizards, and the wizards are so powerful that they have put some checks on how much power that wizards are able to use. So the native group of this world makes the talismans that the wizards use, and they prevent the wizards from being all powerful. You're mainly following this queendom that's called the Fells, and you follow the heir to the throne, and you also follow a street rat named Hans. In this series, it's a bit more expanded. You start following a lot more characters. It's also the generation after the one in the first series, and you follow these characters in different parts of the world. The problem in this series is that there is this sorceress, kind of, and she has started attacking the different countries of this area of the world, and it's up to the characters to figure out what's going on, figure out how to team up, figure out how to save themselves, and save the country and the world. Enjoying it so far. Definitely excited to see where everything goes. She's one of my favorites. I love Cinda Williams-Shima. We are nearing the end. This is the 3rd to last book. It is Stalking Darkness by Lynn Flewelling. This is the 2nd book. I don't know what this series is called. It's the 2nd book. The first one is called Luck in the Shadows. I read that one last year, I believe, and really enjoyed it. I listened to the audiobook, but my library doesn't have the 2nd book for some reason. Basically follows this guy, can't remember his name, but at the beginning of the book, he's in a prison and he's about to be executed. He ends up getting saved, and he travels with this guy, and they find out that there's more problems in this world than they thought. The main character also has like a mysterious past that I'm sure you're gonna find out about as the series goes along, and find out that he's probably like a special person and has powers and is destined to save the world. There's also magic involved. The main character is gay, and he, I think, will probably get together with the guy who saved him from prison, but it hasn't happened yet. I thought that the first book started off pretty slow, but by a certain point, when you meet the found family that the mentor slash other guy has built for himself, I was fully invested, and I'm now really into this series. So I'll let you guys know what I think when I get to this one. The 2nd to last book is from the Avatar comic series. This is Smoke and Shadow, which is the fourth bind-up of 3 comics that follow Aang after the TV show ended. I did reviews for the first and second bind-up, so I'll leave those up in the card symbol. I still need to read the third one, but I went ahead and asked for the fourth one because I know I'm gonna want to read it at some point. If you guys don't know what Avatar: The Last Airbender is about, I am shocked, and I definitely think you should go watch the cartoon. So go watch that, and I will let you guys know what I think of this when I get to it. It's in wrapping right now, so I'll show you guys what it looks like later. And the last book that is going to be in my birthday book haul is going to be this one. If you guys don't know, I collect editions of Harry Potter because I love that series. It really got me into reading, basically. And so I collect the UK deluxe editions of the books, the deluxe editions of the illustrated editions. So this is the Goblet of Fire. It is this green color and it has a dragon on it. I am not going to open it right now because the inside foiling of them look the same as the others. So when I go to read them, I'll open it. There's also a map included. I'll leave a link up in the card symbol to the video where I open up 2 of these and show you what they look like. But yeah, I'm super happy to have this and add it to my collection. These books are gorgeous, and I'm very, very grateful and blessed that my parents bought me this. Hi, Bubs. So those are some of the books that I got for my birthday. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below which books I should be prioritizing. Aw, thanks, buddy. Again, I have a few more books that I didn't include because I didn't want to get my family members sick, but those will be in a future video. Anything else you want me to know, leave it down below, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye. Lookie, say bye. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye. Good boy. Bye.